Yo, what up, y'all? It's your boy Rob coming back at you once again with another live stream. So before we get started, you already know what to do. If you're not subscribed to the channel, make sure you hit the bell icon twice. Smash the like button, share this video out to all of your followers, and let's get it cracking. All right, so shout out to everybody who is in the building early. It's good to see each and every one of you. If you guys can hear me okay, please give me a thumbs up or radiation emoji in the chat. If you guys cannot hear me, please give me a thumbs down or an angry face. While you guys are doing that, I'm going to shout out everybody who is in the building early, all right? Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Make sure y'all show her some love. Y'all know what to do. She enforcing the likes. Shout out to AB Promotions. Shout out to DC Precise. Shout out to Mr. Knock. Shout out to Miss Nisi. Shout out to Carla. Shout out to Carlton. Shout out to Tedra, and shout out to my man Kale. Shout out to Ricky Guillory. What's good with it? Carlton got me dying. Carlton got me dying already. Kamala hit the walls. Right. Facts. Paul Wall, baby. What you know about me? Paul Wall, baby. The people's champ. What you know about me? Shout out to DeAndre. Those who like your forces in the chat for my man DeAndre. What's good with it? What's good with it, y'all? So, yo, Charlamagne, a little interview dropped yesterday. We're going to check this out. Now, how many people recall the video that we did where we looked at the interview with ABC where it was admitted that Charlamagne has contacts with the White House? Charlamagne discusses what he plans on talking about to the public with the White House, and the White House reviews some of what Charlamagne says about the candidates. If you guys remember that, give me a thumbs up. If you guys do not remember that, give me a thumbs down. If you don't remember it, don't worry about it. On the replay, we will definitely have a card linking back to that video because Charlamagne da God has been skeptic grifting. How many of you all remember when he kept saying a vote for Biden is a vote for Harris? Do you guys remember that? It's interesting how things done changed. It's interesting how things done changed, ain't it? And then we're going to ask the question, because of voter trends and, different things that are going on demographically, should woke DEI men, and you know who that is because you know who they're talking about when they say that stuff, should we take over and control MAGA? I think that we should take over and control everything. So my answer would be yes, but it doesn't make sense to take over and control MAGA and then still have the priorities of MAGA be what the priorities of MAGA are today. Because if you are a woke DEI man like the men in this chat or like myself, then you know that you are not a part of the American heritage. Would you guys agree? You are absolutely not a part of the American heritage. What you are supposed to be is a cog in the American machine that works to self-punish people like yourself for being born genetically who you are, and you are supposed to enrich everyone else through your own work and blood. And we know that we're not having that anymore. We're not having that. Those days are over. Now, if trends are moving in the way that they're moving, it's interesting the direction that things are going as far as Harris support, Democrat support overall, and Trump support. And my question for everybody is, if support from young black males, the black male demographic, is moving more in line towards Trump support, my question is, why would you vote for Trump when Trump is providing a contract for W America and not really doing anything with you other than diluting your history for his propaganda purposes? If you plan on doing something, why not get something out of it? Shout out to my man AW1. Does that make sense? If that makes sense, let me know. So we're going to take a look at this opinion piece real quick. All right, we're going to try to get through this stuff as quick as possible because your boy got stuff to do. I was able to actually squeeze this in. We're going to do the part 2 of Aiden Ross tomorrow. So make sure you guys, y'all know, watch this stream all the way through to the end. It'll take you right into the Aiden Ross stream for tomorrow. Y'all can hit the bell, hit the like button on that. All right. Here's why young black men like me are voting for Trump. All right. So this guy is going to give some reasons of why he's voting for Trump. And we're going to see if we agree with any of these reasons or if any of these reasons are viable, if they make sense or if they don't make sense. All right. One of the most surprising things to happen in American politics during an election cycle full of surprises has been how well former President Donald Trump is polling with black men. Now, again, to me, this is something that is coming from the perspective of a rookie. I don't find it surprising how well Trump is polling with black men. Trump polled decent in the last election with black men. Trump never he had the Richard Nixon type numbers with black men. He does better than a normal or than an average conservative or average Republican with black men for some reason. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. So the current trend is consistent with the historical trend. Poll after poll have shown him with support ranging from 20% to almost 40%. Historic numbers for a Republican since the Civil Rights Act. All right. So why are those numbers happening? But then the race changed. Now Trump's opponent is no longer an aging Joe Biden, but Vice President Kamala Harris, who, according to this article here, herself is black and Indian. Okay. Now, mind you, I don't know why they mentioned her being black and Indian, right? Because they didn't mention Trump's race at all. So just I want y'all to pay attention to the demographics in the way that these things are written. Is the substitution of Harris going to change Trump's newfound support among black men? I don't think so. I don't think it will. What do you guys think? If you think that introducing Kamala Harris into the race is going to get people to stop supporting Trump and get them to, like Tiffany Cross said, fall in line for Kamala Harris, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't think that that's going to happen, then give me a thumbs down. Shout out to my man, Mike Nice. What's good with it? Now, when it comes to this black man, nor my friends, most of us are still firmly in the Trump camp. And I think that this guy is probably similar to most people who are supporting Trump. Now, I hate to stereotype people. I hate to roast, but we got to roast. Shout out to my man, Win Lose a Rug. What's good with you, bro? We got to roast. This dude looks like what you would assume a black Trump supporter would be. Not a lot of facial hair, you know what I'm saying? Wearing like a business suit, low cut fade. You know what I'm saying? And again, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with that. But what's interesting about it is that he looks like the stereotypical black male Trump supporter. Now, is there anything wrong with this guy's appearance? Not at all. Not at all. Don't get me to lie and sit up here saying that there's something wrong with his appearance, because they're not. What I find fascinating is that white Trump supporters like to show the ninja for Trump type stereotype. They like to show the dude with the gold chain and the slick back hair looking wild. This dude just looks like your average brother that's in corporate America. You know what I'm saying? Business casual, mild-mannered. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't look, he looks like a normal black man. I don't see anything outstanding. And when I say outstanding, I'm not saying that in a bad way, right? Shout out to Kiko. What's good with it? He just looks like what I would expect a young professional corporate black man to look like. This is what I don't know if most people have those kind of expectations, but I do. He looks like what I would expect a young professional black man to look like. A young professional black man that's more than likely, he could be like a lawyer or engineer or something like that, working for a company or whatever, right? The white Trump supporters, white and Vivek Ramaswamy-esque Asian Trump supporters, they want black male Trump supporters that have a oil slick pushing their hair down, big bucking gold teeth, a gold chain, loud music, a dirty white tee with chicken grease all over the front of it, loud and inarticulate, screaming ninjas for Trump. That's the type of caricature that the white conservatives want as their black person for Trump. This guy right here, to me, when it comes to like the Tim Scotts or like the Byron Donalds or, those conservatives, usually they're clean cut, you know what I'm saying? Like just like him. But the street team looks like they just got out of the county prison. When it comes to the MAGA street team, the MAGA street team looks like somebody cut the lock off of a jail cell with a lock cutter and just let population get some Make America Great Again hats and some white t-shirts and let them run wild in front of interview cameras. And my question is, why is it their preference to have those kind of people on the forefront while complaining about crime in Chicago and hiding these type of individuals right here, unless, you know, these are the type of individuals that they have, you know, running for a certain office where they never plan to advance them past a senator or a governor? That's my question. And what I want to know from you guys is, do you all notice a similar trend? If you guys notice a similar trend, give me a thumbs up. If you guys don't notice a similar trend, then give me a thumbs down. What I find fascinating is that these people claim that they like the good ones, quote unquote. These people claim that they like the quote unquote intelligent ones. But the ones that they like to present seem to me to appear, and when they talk, usually sound like the least intelligent people that they can find. Ironically. Just an observation. Just an observation. You know what I'm saying? So now this is interesting, right? I grew up in a multi-generational home on the island of St. Croix, which is in the U.S. Virgin Islands. So go ahead, y'all. Y'all already know. My family migrated to St. Croix from other Caribbean islands during the Hess Oil Virgin Islands Corporation boom of the 1970s and the Martin Marietta Vialico expansion of the 1980s. As a black man of West Indian heritage, okay? So this is definitely the kind of black guy that they want for these political movements. People they love, man. When I tell you they love, I'm talking about hugs, long hugs. They love non-black American men. When it comes to individuals like this individual who are from places within the diaspora, they do not like the people from the diaspora with the mentality that we have. Because as much as the xenophobia is running rampant, don't get it twisted. There's definitely a lot of people from the diaspora that got the mentality like us. It's a lot. There's a whole bunch. You know what I'm saying? Don't let them fool you. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times what ends up happening when they get to the United States, they recruit the people to the United States that would work for PragerU, right? They recruit the people that will work for the Daily Wire. They recruit the people that will work for Fox News, right? Those are the people that they bring over here. They got a screening criteria. Let me ask you guys this question. To come to the United States through USCIS, do you have to apply? So if you are not from the United States and you're from the diaspora and you say, you know what, I want to come to the United States, find some black Americans and build business with them. You know what I'm saying? I want to find some down homies, you know what I'm saying, in the Midwest, or some down homies in the South. You know what I'm saying? I want to build with some people on the East Coast, on the West Coast. You know what I'm saying? We about to build this big conglomerate, and I'm about to work with the black Americans here in the United States. We're going to run things back. You know what I'm saying? I'm a build with these cats over here. We're going to build it up over here. Then we're going to move a subsidiary of the business over to where I'm from in Africa. Other business partner we got in the Caribbean, we're going to move it over there. So we're going to have 3 different places that we all working out of, bringing money to all the places that we respectively come from, revitalizing the places where we come from, creating money, resources, and access to the things that we need. We about to do that, right? That's what's up. That's my goal. That's my vision. I'm going to tell you something. Don't put that on the application, because you definitely ain't going to come up. You ain't going to be allowed over here. Do not put that on your application. I have business aspirations to create powerful value networks with others in the diverse black community in America. I want to work with black American descendants of slaves. I want to work with black people from Africa who got the same mentality as us. I want to work with some black people from Jamaica. You know what I'm saying? I want to work with all these other cats. Oh, no. You know what I'm saying? You didn't put a period on line 5. You can't come over. That's exactly what they're going to do. So that's what people got to be careful of. And remember, all of these people that are here in the United States, these are American approved people from the diaspora, right? They're not people that we approved. So that's another thing that people should pay very close attention to too, right? That we should call them people that come over here American approved diaspora transplants. American approved diaspora transplants. A minority. Because just because somebody is from, that's not foundational Black American, or somebody that's not ADOS, that don't necessarily mean that, they're not on the same mentality as we are. If you a Black person in the world, more than likely you've been a victim of WS, which means that you got to fight it. However, the same way that it's a minority of coons, right? I should say there's a minority of egregious coons. A minority of egregious coons. I would say that there's a minority of egregious people from the diaspora. I wouldn't say that there's a majority. I don't think that the majority of people from the diaspora should have some type of title, as they're automatically not qualified to run with us, in the battle against WS, because half the time we ain't gonna come in contact with them. We're not gonna come in contact with them because they over there, because they got the application denied. So what would be the criteria? The same way good police officers get their applications denied. Good police officers get their applications denied because part of the application process of being a police officer is being a racist, being somebody that is aggressive, being somebody that is going to use excessive use of force on the people we want you to use that force on. Everybody knows how this works. The problem is that in 2024, everybody has an attachment to the xenophobic narrative because it boosts everybody's ego. It boosts everybody's ego, but it doesn't really do anything for the cause. Doesn't do anything for any type of cause. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hustling backwards. You know what I'm saying? You got to be aware of your surrounding. You know what I'm saying? And you got to understand the circumstances of what we live in. You know what I'm saying? So now, speaking of which, this dude is from the Caribbean, right? This is one of the people that they like. My parents always told me the message a lot of other Black kids hear growing up. You have 3 strikes against you already. You're Black, you're poor, and you're a man. They told me I would have to work harder and be better than everyone else if I wanted to be competitive in the world. And if you ask me, that's not necessarily true. That's the incorrect thing to tell your children. Would you guys agree? Absolutely. Shout out to DJ Elmo. Absolutely. DJ Elmo said, Black Light, I am now seeing FBA label other FBA as tethers if there is a slight disagreement or difference of opinion. Yeah, that happens all the time. I've seen it happen. I've seen people who are undoubtedly FBA, you know what I'm saying, get tethered up because they have a disagreement or they don't agree with something that somebody did. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, I mean, it's unfortunate that happens, but when you create that kind of environment, you can't really be surprised when that kind of environment bubbles over. You know what I'm saying? That's one of the reasons why people should manage how things are. You know what I'm saying? But when there's no management and situations control themselves, when situations get out of control, there's no way to put the control back into context. You know what I'm saying? So now I want to ask y'all this question. Do y'all agree with this? You have 3 strikes against you already. You are Black, you are poor, you are a man. They told me I would have to work harder and be better than everyone else if I wanted to be competitive in the world. I disagree with that. But I want to know what you guys think. How many of y'all agree with that? If y'all agree with that, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree with that, then give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Greets. What's good with you, bro? So now here it says, I didn't understand this growing up. My father and uncle were powerful role models for me. They worked hard to provide for the family and contribute to the community. I didn't really comprehend the context in which being Black or being a man would be held against me. So again, I don't understand how you don't understand that. How do you not understand that? Especially when you come from a place that is majority Black, and you can see in most cases how resource deprived it is, not as a result of anything that you've seen or observed while you were growing up. I don't understand that. So are you just not paying attention to anything? I was raised in a culture where Black people were the majority, where we control the government and all other positions of prominence. But do you control your government? Let me ask you guys this question. Do countries in the Caribbean truly control their government? Do African countries truly control their government? Who controls the government of most non-white companies or of most non-white countries? Who controls those governments? You mean to tell me that the people there control the governments? That's what we doing? People. But this kid, he's under the impression that they do. Now, how did he get that impression? Did the old folks lie to him? Did the old folks lie to him? I started to understand what my parents meant when I moved to the United States. All right. So now, if you got everybody controlling the government there, why would you move to the United States? Let me tell you guys something. If I ran the city that I lived in, I guarantee you the majority of my family would stay in the city and utilize the city's resources. Why would you move to the United States? Oh, shout out to Kurt. Yeah, facts. WS got their hands so far up the innards of US and other governments. Bro, facts. Straight puppets. Shout out to Win Lose a Rug. Win Lose a Rug said, this is what you call intellectually dishonest. Absolutely. This is what you call disassociation syndrome and denial of reality. You know what I'm saying? Now check this out, right? I didn't really comprehend the context in which being black or being a black man would be held against me. I was raised in a culture where black people were the majority, where we control the government and other positions of prominence. Now, if they were doing an adequate job, then my question would be, in a global society where you can utilize being online, Zoom, Skype, StreamYards, different things like that, well, then what would drive you to move to the United States? What is it that you could get from the United States that's not majority black controlled that you wouldn't be able to get here? It doesn't make any sense. Shout out to the specialist. What's good with it, bro? Does it make any sense? So we got to rationalize with this, right? I started to understand what my parents meant when I moved to the U.S. for college to study chemical and natural gas engineering at Texas A&M University, Kingsville. That was my first exposure to racist stereotypes about black Americans. Now, mind you, somebody that he doesn't consider himself a part of, right? Including my own encounters with being pulled over by traffic cops. Now, because you come from a place where there's a majority of black people, you want to come to the United States and tell us who live amongst the majority of white people that there's no such thing as racism. Mind you, you are suffocating in racism. The place where you come from is suffocated in racism. It's suffocated in racism to the point that it's so bad, white people don't even want to be over there, so they let you act like you run the country. You know what I'm saying? And then you come here and tell us that there's no racism. You know what I'm saying? And again, being pulled over by traffic cops, my friend, that's surface level racism. There's layers to this. There's levels to this. You know what I'm saying? There's levels to this. It's to the point now where we're so numb to like certain surface level racism things. If we were to have a conversation and somebody was like, yo, this person called me an N-word, we sitting there looking at you like that's what you complaining about. You haven't even made it to level 2 yet. What you complaining about? Going to college just 2 hours from the southern border, I was often asked if I was a U.S. citizen because of my accent, which, I mean, okay. What does that have to do? I mean, okay, that's you at the southern border, and that's what they do down there because a lot of people ain't U.S. citizens. You know what I'm saying? Now, just saying, it is what it is. I graduated from college and started my career as an engineer in training in the oil fields in 2012. Despite working on the Eagle Ford shale development, I saw the work start to dry up during Barack Obama's presidency due to his policies. Okay, which policies dried up the work where you were at? Shout out to Manosphere Hall of Fame. What's good with it, bro? So let's unpackage that. We need to get a direct correlation to what we're saying caused these declines, right? Companies started downsizing to skirt the Affordable Care Act and its mandates and added regulations, made it tougher on employers to hire new graduates and pay them enough to cover student loans and rent. Now, is there other ways that people could cover new student loans and rent? Now, this dude says that he's not from the United States. A lot of people that's not from the United States mitigate the price of rent by living in a multi-generational household. Would you guys agree? So there's workarounds that he could have did, right? So I'm just saying. Environmental regulations at the time resulted in the closing of manufacturing plants and shutdowns in the oil and gas sector. The refining capacity on the East Coast was reduced by 25% during 2012 through 2015. Okay. I didn't vote for Donald Trump that year. So this is what I tell you about a lot of these dudes that are conservatives, especially the black conservatives. It's projection. They project their action onto everyone else. I didn't vote for Trump. I voted for Obama. What are you running around yelling at everybody, telling everybody else to vote for Trump for? And you didn't even vote for Trump the first time. Shout out to Shaka. What's good with it, bro? You know what I mean? So this dude admits he didn't vote for Trump this year. Now, after living through Obama, right? After living through Obama and then coming back and voting for Trump, now he's come with this epiphany that everybody needs to vote for Trump. Well, remember, bro, you voted for Obama the first time. Stop projecting. These dudes are so aggressive with trying to point at everybody else and act like everybody else made the same mistakes as them. Everybody didn't. Have respect and have a conversation with other people before you just try to bark at people and try to tell people what people were doing. You know what I'm saying? So this dude says, I didn't vote for Donald Trump that year. Despite for a new lease on life, I wrote in Senator Bernie Sanders. All right. My deceased Dominican grandmother would have had a fit if I told her I voted for a socialist. I mean, so then why did you? So, I mean, right here, this kind of says, well, you're not even really loyal to your family values, because according to your family values, your grandmother was anti-socialist and you just decided to write in a socialist name on the card. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Shaka. Yo, at least you admit that, bro. There's a lot of people that can't admit that. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to my man Kurt. Starting it off, first stream sponsor. Make sure y'all show him some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat for my man Kurt, funding the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Cash rules everything around me. Queen, get the money. Dollar, dollar bill, yo.
Shout out to Kurt. Kurt says 2 hours from the southern border. My ayah. Dude is full of it. College Station is much further. See, I'm glad you said that, bro, because I'm not familiar. I wouldn't know. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Patrick, second stream sponsor. Make sure y'all show him some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for Patrick.
Silence. Silence. I ain't got no money, pa.
Patrick says, I can't take these people seriously. Bro, it's really hard to. It's really hard to at times. You know what I'm saying? It definitely is. So now here it says, yet, who could have imagined the economy that Trump administration created? I don't know anybody that knows politics, because conservatives usually are fiscal conservative, which if everything is good or at least somewhat manageable from the last administration, in most cases, the goal is to move from a deficit that big spenders on big government like Democrats and socialists do to a surplus in privatization and smaller government regulation that conservatives do. So like if you know basic micro and macroeconomics, and if you know that Trump is a conservative, it should be obvious that he would probably create a more efficient economy because of free market theory. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? I was hired in December in 2016 just on the prospect of the improved economy that Trump was likely to build. Not only did his election get me hired back in my industry, but his presidency was so beneficial, I got many other black friends from college hired in the oil and gas, and I saw our lives take off for the better. Now, here go my question. You got friends from college hired in oil and gas, so you got some of your friends' app life. Now, when you got into the app life, right, As you were working at App Life, did you and your friends build a male business network and start building a business that will be competitive with your former employer? But he's not a conservative, and that's facts, Shaka. That's facts. And that's a good question. How does he know that's why he was hired? Right. If we look at the company's revenue, the income statement, balance sheet, right, the company might have actually just been doing better. You know what I'm saying? Aside from economic factors, we don't know. We don't have all that information. We only have his testimony. And this is a, article where he's selling Trump. So of course, everything that he says is going to be, something that validates Trump. I went from being homeless. I didn't know he was homeless. This is something new here in the article. So update, he was homeless. You know what I'm saying? I went from being homeless to making $80,000 a year. Suddenly, I had a 2-bedroom apartment, just like how suddenly in the article, boom, he's homeless. Didn't know that. So now, boom, he's got a 2-bedroom apartment. Life insurance and savings. I was able to go on vacation with my then fiance several times a year. Well, if you go on vacation that many doggone times, that'll probably put you back homeless. So I really wouldn't go ham and do that. You know what I'm saying? Black men do not have to admire Trump's character to acknowledge his policies worked best for our interest. Now, again, is that necessarily black men and a black man and Trump relationship, or is that a black men for the most part are naturally somewhat conservative? So even if it wasn't Trump, maybe if there was another conservative candidate, in most cases, if the economy stimulates wealth, people who benefit from a racial wealth gap would benefit from someone who, for the most part, implements conservative policies. That would probably make sense, right? If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it don't, then give me a thumbs down. Many of us had great jobs. So again, he's using the App Life indicator, the jobs. We were making money. Okay. What about your resources? Were you able to build a business? Were you able to become an entrepreneur? Were you able to create and gain means of production? Yeah. And if you guys agree with Shaka, give me a thumbs up. I agree. Shaka says not a black men thing. If you make it that way, you'll be highly disappointed when things don't work out. Exactly. I would say it was probably more of a policy thing, more of a muscle memory thing when it comes to conservative policy / politics, interacting with the circumstances that we navigate through economically. And what I honestly believe is that that most people don't understand the relationship that we have within the economy to understand how to properly manipulate and fine tune politics to be able to create workable situations. Right. If anything, this was the epitome of trickle down benefits, trickle down economics. That's all good. It's all good, Manosphere Hall of Fame. Manosphere Hall of Fame says, no disrespect. I don't think black men are conservative generally. Black men who are conservative are the minority. That's interesting. What do you guys, if in the comment section, what do you guys think? Do you guys agree with Manosphere Hall of Fame? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. That could be true. You know what I'm saying? Could be true. You know what I'm saying? So now here it says, then President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, and like Obama, they prioritized climate change, globalization, expansion of the welfare state, and advancement of social ideologies over protecting American jobs and families. Their policies had a massively detrimental impact on the economy and the future prospects of the everyday man. All right. The majority of black men in America are not professional athletes or celebrity, but we're also not poor or homeless or on welfare. We are everyday, hardworking men seeking to move ahead in life. Now, let me ask you guys this. How many would agree with this statement? If you guys would agree with this statement, give me a thumbs up. If you guys would disagree with this statement, give me a thumbs down. I actually agree with that statement, which is why it's so egregious to me when they have people like Charlamagne da God, Shaquille O'Neal, all these clowns who literally are not in touch with the realities of most black men attempting to not only be advocates for black men, but just presenting themselves in the mainstream media as copious simps. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to John Guillory. What's good with it, bro? Copious simps. You know what I'm saying? And the left seems to make that much harder by hobbling the economy on one hand, then pushing music and culture that tells black men we're nothing if we aren't rich. It's the 1-2 punch for the 3 strikes black men. Okay. At the end of the day, all Americans want the same things. And I completely disagree with this. Life, liberty, safety, and security. I disagree with that. I don't believe that all Americans want the same things, because there's many Americans who have all of these things, and then there's a large amount of Americans who don't. So I don't think that all Americans want those. I think that there's a large segment of Americans who take those things for granted. You know what I'm saying? And they have an overabundance, and there's some people that don't have a lot at all. For me and many of my black male friends, re-electing President Trump gives us the best opportunity to become providers for our family, to get dignity from good paying jobs. Good paying job, red flag, red flag, red flag. You want to be an industry leader, you want to be a market leader, you want to have a percentage of the GDP. Aiming for a good job is aiming way too low. That's like if life is a dartboard and you're aiming for a good job, that's like aiming on the outside ring, the furthest away from the bullseye in a game of darts. I disagree with that. Aim for material resources and means of production. You know what I'm saying? I thought that was an interesting article, though. And my thing is, the reason why I said should black men / woke DEI men take over and control MAGA, because if you're gonna support and advocate something like this, why support and advocate something that is like this, that's not built to benefit you first, if you're gonna be the floor and the background of it? People already made this exact same mistake with the Democratic Party, to be ran over and to just do stuff for free. Don't do that. If you are going to, lean to the right, be a conservative, whatever, make them portion out a specific earmarked segment of policies and things for you. And don't just get trickle down benefits for the people that it was created for. If you're gonna lend your vote, you know what I'm saying? So again, somebody will listen to this and be like, oh, you're saying not to vote for anybody. Well, no, I'm saying get what you need out of the movement. Shout out to Shaka. Be independent. You can be independent and still get something out of this if you give them the vote. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of times it's funny. A lot of times the conservative people will sit there and talk about the emotionalism, but a lot of times many of those people who end up being conservative are only conservative because of the butthurt that they've dealt with from being a Democrat, or from being a liberal, or from being around a bunch of liberals, or being around a bunch of Democrats. So you become emotionally butthurt and you go all the way to the other end and be conservative, and you be hardcore conservative simply based on emotionalism and not justifying anything based on fact. It's a really wild phenomenon. You know what I'm saying? Me personally, it's the same thing that I always say. What the vote's hidden for. You know what I'm saying? So now there's an article here from the New Republic. And this article here from the New Republic is kind of interesting. Kamala Harris is continuing with the identity politics. I think that's going to be her. That's going to be her game, the identity politics. You know what I'm saying? And it says Democrats are losing Latino men to Trump. So what it seems like is, it seems like males of many different demographics see some type of benefit in a Trump presidency. So we just talked about the black men that see some type of benefit in a Trump presidency, right? Now we got Latino men moving to Trump. Now enter Kamala Harris. Enter Kamala Harris for what? What's she gonna do? Let's find out. You know what I'm saying? Latino men for Kamala Harris had something to prove last week. I didn't even know that they existed. If anybody had to ask me about them, you know what I'm saying, before me reading this article, I would have said, prove your existence, because I had no idea that there was one. You know what I'm saying? An impromptu group of campaign donors calling themselves White Dudes for Harris made waves, raising $4 million on a Zoom call featuring a suite of celebrities, including actor Jeff Bridges, who famously played the dude in the cult classic film The Big Lebowski. Just a week before, a group of around 4,500 Latinas for Harris raised roughly $150,000 on the call. They should get $150,000 worth of policy too, compared to how many people, how much money everybody else on them calls made. Hey, the Latinas for Trump made about as much as one white woman from the white women for Trump. The whole Latinas for Trump made about as much as one of the white women on there for the white women for Trump. You know what I'm saying? The time had come for Latino men to step up. And to me, I don't know about this, man. I don't know how I feel about this. This is all just really weird. Shout out to Carlton. You know what I'm saying? Carlton came with the brilliant insights. There's just something odd, something off, something not right about these Zoom calls. Would you guys agree? It's just weird. Everybody is some group for Harris. It's just, I don't know, man. It's just really weird. I've never seen anything like this before. Shout out to everybody that's watching. I really appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed the like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys have not hit that bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. We got 56 people watching. We got 42 likes. If everybody can bang on that like button and get us to 100, that would be wonderful. Yeah, shout out to DC Precise. Facts. DC Precise said, Eskimos, midgets, and humpbacks for Harris. Shout out to Dr. Claude Anderson. Right. You know what I'm saying? Right.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the march of dimes.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
That's like, you know what I'm saying? That's what they're gonna have next. They're gonna have the Eskimos, they're gonna have the midgets. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Leonard. What's good with it, bro? Like, what? Come on, man. So now here says, I don't want to wake up tomorrow and see CNN how white boys outrage the Latino men, so we need to get in our wallets, said Chuck Rocha, a former Bernie Sanders advisor who served as MC for the Latino for Harris fundraiser. And that's interesting. We'll reserve comment on that. The call, which included comedian George Lopez, Senators Ben Ray Lujan and Alex Padilla, House Democratic Conference Chair Pete Aguilar, and Democratic National Committee Vice Chairman Henry Munoz, among the other male Latino popular luminaries, raised about $70,000 from 2,600 call participants, 735 of whom donated, far less than the other demographics fundraisers since Harris replaced Biden at the top of the ticket. So the Latino people really didn't raise too much for Kamala Harris. The Latino people didn't really raise too much for Kamala Harris. And Joe Biden sat there and said that would be the demographic that we got to take orders from. You guys remember that? He basically gave the people on the phone call the caste system.
You ain't black.
Now, they was being cheap. This is cheap. They only raised a couple pesos. You know what I'm saying? They raised $70,000 and said, no mas, no mas. And then on top of it, they said, I don't want you comparing us. Don't compare us to the white people. Oh, you getting compared to the white people if your phone call only made 70,000 and the white women made 8 million. Oh, you definitely getting compared. You definitely getting compared. You know what I'm saying? I would have handled it differently had I known it was a fundraising call, said Munoz. Now, you mean to tell me they didn't know it was a fundraising call? This is the epitome of my dog ate my homework. And on top of it, listen, the migrants got extra money to be moving around, and those debit cards that the migrants got Visa and MasterCard on it. They should have had them run their card. They should have had the migrants run that card. If y'all agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. Shout out to Kirk. Kirk said that is shadow PAC money, not coming from the people. And I would agree. I actually would agree 110%. If you guys agree with Kirk, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. And also show Kirk some love for funding the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the march of dimes.
This is the hardest record out.
The money, y'all. There's poor people
rich, bitch.
Now they really were very cheap. They're very cheap. Shout out to Kurt. Shout out to Kurt. Make sure y'all show Kurt some love. He doubling down.
Again!
Definitely appreciate it, bro.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the march of dimes.
Kurt said, that's that micro hat slush fund funnel money. Yeah, the tunnel money. Yeah. The funnel tunnel money. Facts. You know what I'm saying? So down here it said, but behind every challenge, there's an opportunity. I didn't think the first call was perfect. It could have been better. I think there's still some explaining to do. Yeah, Lucy got some explaining to do for Latino men to know who she is. How do you not know who she is? She's from California. Are you serious? They need to understand who she is. Listen, they just don't support her like that, and that's just what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. They just don't support her. Deal with it. The relatively underwhelming effort illustrated the ongoing challenge Harris and the Democrats have engaging this in demographic. Now, pay very close attention to that, right? Now, mind you, this is the demographic that they're doing all kinds of concessions for to bring into the country. You're recruiting, making new laws, and bringing people in that once they get here and get settled, as you can see from this article, they don't even mess with you like that. They don't even mess with you like that. You know what I'm saying? They must recognize the diversity within Latino men, moving beyond stereotypes to address their unique concerns and aspirations, especially as Trump has been making inroads with them, according to polls and political observers. Now, the thing that's interesting, I think that people who are voting for Trump, they're voting for Trump based on their own research, because honestly, Trump's not really making any outreach to any of these people, if you ask me. Trump's not doing anything special, you know what I'm saying, come vote for me to black people or, you know what I'm saying, to Latinos or anything like that. Trump is giving special treatment to white people. I think that there's black people and Latino people and people of other demographics that just see, well, you know, there are policies that the Democrats have that could possibly be harmful for me. And if I'm going to vote, what makes the most sense is to not vote for these harmful policies. And if I can benefit from 2 or 3 of these policies over here, maybe I should do this, or either just not vote. Trump ain't making an effort to really reach out to these people like that. And like, ain't nobody about to vote for Trump just because of ninjas for Trump. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's voting for Trump because of Jerry curl juice and Cuban links, right? I mean, that's just not happening. So now here it says, for years, Democrats believed that the country becoming browner and more ethnically diverse would automatically give them an advantage against Republicans who, especially in the Trump era, utter racist bile. And that, again, I don't know if they believe this stuff or not, but that doesn't make sense. That's not true. I don't agree with that at all. Those brown people in their respective countries are the white people themselves. You know what I'm saying? Them brown people in them respective countries are La Raza. What are they talking about? This is just denial of reality. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kirk. Make sure y'all show Kirk some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for Kirk. Kirk says, and they still vote Republican at a Steph Curry clip. Why are they not in the voter hall of shame? Bro, that is a question that I wish I had the answer for, and I do not.
Get the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
I'm rich, bitch. Silence. Silence. I ain't got no money, pa.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the march of dimes.
Yeah, I wish I had the answer for that question, bro, but I don't. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to everybody that's watching. I appreciate you guys. If you all haven't smashed that like button yet, please take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell, please take a moment, hit that bell. And also, please share the stream to your social media. All right. So now it says recent elections disprove the notions that the GOP has performed better and better among Latino voters. A majority of Latino men will vote for Harris. No one doubts that. But the Trump campaign only needs to shave her margin among Latino males slightly to pave the way for a MAGA return to the White House. If Harris is to have any hopes of winning, she will need to tailor, look at this, she will need to tailor her appeals specifically to the aspirations of Latino men, crafting narratives that resonate and speaking authentically to issues. Now, what's interesting about this is that you find it, you find it that they never, ever communicate to black people in that way. And when black people ask, why are we not communicated to in this way? You get Kamala Harris, who actually turns around and then says, I'm not going to do anything specifically for black people. No. But as you guys can see right here, they're advising her, well, if you want this vote, right? She will need to tailor her appeals specifically to the aspirations of Latino men, crafting narratives that resonate and speaking authentically to issues. Now, let me ask you guys this. Where have you ever seen it written in the media where the media is giving the advice to discuss these kind of things with black men? Have you guys ever seen that? I've only ever heard other black men tell us that we need to be voted to like that, or that we need to be talked to like that, or that we need to be appealed to in that way. Only other black males say that kind of thing. No one else does. No one else does. And many black males are such simps that in many cases, they don't even do it. Only real black dudes that's not simps actually talk like this. And then if you talk like this, somehow you're a misogynist. You're leaving people out and all this other nonsense. But now here in this article right here, it's encouraging them to do this with Latino men. And then how it's encouraging them to do this for Latino men will make up a small amount of this vote. They'll get the vote. When they get the vote, they'll get the resources. And then people will sit there and say, look at these other groups of men build. Somebody make it make sense. Shout out to Kurt. Make sure y'all show Kurt some love. Kurt said, let me stop before Brooklyn Queens show up in here. Uh-oh, hold on. We got to play. We got to play Brooklyn Queens drop. Hold on real quick.
I am the rocks of the eternal shore. Crash against me and be broken. Ancient spirits of evil, transform this decayed form to Mumra, the ever-living!
Oh, see, look, shout out to Kurt. See, you mentioned her name and she showed up like Candy Woman. She showed up just like Candy. Oh, man. So now here it says, we may have taken the subgroup of Latino males for granted in the past. Now, that's interesting, right? Because you know who've been taken advantage of in the past. I don't really see the Democrats taking advantage of Latinos in the past. Are you serious? I think the Latinos got a pretty good deal out of the Democrats and really didn't do too much to earn the deal. But sure, okay. One way Harris specifically can engage them, he told me, would be to highlight her record as California's Attorney General, specifically a 2015 policy to combat wage theft. Okay. This agreement allows our agencies to better investigate and prosecute those who exploit workers and deny them pay and benefits they deserve, Harris said at the time. Munoz, who, along with his wife, Kaya Ferrari, is a longtime Hollywood fixer for Democratic campaigns, that said that narrative would appeal to Latino voters. I hope we do an ad with that, he says. So as you guys can see, they work in this value chain in there. All right. Latin celebrities could also draw men to her campaign. As Harris, see, again, so now they work in the celebrities angle. So see, I want you guys to see what they're doing. Look at this. Now, this is one of the reasons why they're trying to do the hip hop and Latino merger. All right. Watch this. Watch this. This is one of the reasons why they're trying to do the hip hop and Latino merger. Latin celebrities could also draw men to her campaign. We're going to buy Latin influence from the nano hats because the people that they use as the cash cows didn't have an insight to secure their intellectual property. So the people that milk them and then put them in jail and steal their assets back and give it to the next aspiring artist, we're going to cut them a check and see if we can buy some influence. All right, cool. We're going to buy some influence. As Harris gains momentum, operatives expect that major Latino male celebrities like Bad Bunny, Pedro Pascal, and John, what is this, Leguizamo, will turn up for Harris on the trail. Celebrities always help, said Albert Morales, an ex-director of Latino political engagement at the Democratic National Committee, but only if the party has laid the groundwork. All right, so they laying the groundwork. To some extent, at least, it has. Morales credits the Biden White House, especially political director Emmy Ruiz, who is close to Harris, with maintaining consistent and strong outreach, even as the ticket has transitioned from Biden to Harris. With Emmy, the cream really rises, says Morales. Now a pollster with a horse farm in Maryland. She's really been keeping the old coalition together and rebuilding it, especially with the Latinos. So again, my question is, what does this even mean? What does this even mean? What are we talking about? And you know what I'm saying? Like, this is, pay attention. What do you guys think that they're doing here? What's going on right here? What are they doing? Harris campaign manager Julie Chavez Rodriguez, granddaughter of California labor leader Cesar Chavez and a close abide to the vice president, also has deep roots in Latino organizing, having worked for the Obama, Biden, and both Harris campaigns for the president. But Democrats and the media, look at this, but Democrats and the media have been duped by high-priced consultants and inaccurate pollsters in the past. Rocha, who emceed the Latino for Men for Harris call, for example, was convicted in 2013 of embezzling money from the United Steelworkers. So why would you get this guy to be one of your mascots? Why would you get this guy to be one of your mascots? Somebody make it make sense. Others have simply failed to deliver. In 2016, Gary Segura and Matt Barreto led Latino Decisions, a boutique polling firm Democrats hired that failed to see Donald Trump's rise in the demographic. Now, why are these people so incompetent? Why are these people so incompetent? Uh-oh. Shout out to my man John. Make sure y'all show John some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for my man John Guillory. John says, Kurt, you don't have to worry about Brooklyn Queen. I am him. I might have to get a drop. I might have to get an I am him drop. You know what I'm saying? I might have to get that I am him drop.
I'm an old Mac from way back. One of the original players from the Himalaya.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
Shout out to John. John says, Kurt, you ain't got to worry about Brooklyn Queen because I am him. Hey. So now here it says, as late as October, Latino Decisions polling showed support for Trump at 14%. In the end, Trump more than doubled that figure, winning 29% of Latino voters, according to exit polls. So you guys see, the Latino vote is not even really, it's not even really doing much for the Democrats. And look at how the Democrats are going hard for them. Now, we're actually going to come back to this article, right? But we got other stuff that we got to do. We definitely got other stuff that we got to do. I'm going to show y'all some headlines, all right? And we're going to get back to these headlines in other streams. But they're things that people need to see. Here's something that you need to see. Kamala Harris and Tim Walz sell millions of dollars worth of hats in less than 24 hours with viral Chappelle Roan-inspired camel merch. Now, who's buying this kind of merch? I would expect a MAGA hat to look like this, not a Harris Walz hat, but okay. You know what I'm saying? What do y'all think about them hats? Anybody gonna buy one of them hats? If you plan on buying one of these hats, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, then give me a thumbs down. They claim that this stuff sold out. Here she go at the store. You know what I'm saying? The stuff hit the fan store with all the freeze-dried food and all that. You know what I'm saying? They go Cam right there in the blazer, in the white blazer. They go to Harris Walz hat. Yeah. You won't catch me wearing any of those. You know what I'm saying? We'll talk about those later. All right. Now, how many people heard about Charlamagne possibly doing a political bit or, going into politics? I'm sure people assumed that would happen, right? But we are going to verify that. All right. We're going to verify that. Y'all know y'all will buy that doggone hat. Stop playing. Stop playing. You know what I'm saying? Especially Mike. Mike definitely buying that hat. What y'all talking about? Oh, man. Y'all got her started, man. Y'all got her started.
I am the rocks of the eternal shore. Crash against me and be broken.
Damn. Uh-oh. Brooklyn Queen says, yes, he is dropping that big joker. Y'all are making my day. Much love, BLR family. Much love, Brooklyn Queen. We appreciate you. Make sure y'all show Brooklyn Queen some love. Oh, man. If y'all haven't hit the like button yet, take a moment, hit that like button. If you guys haven't shared the stream, take a moment, share the stream. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit the bell. Hit the bell twice. And also make sure that you subscribe to the backup channels. All right. So Charlamagne, in this article here, he talks about a future political bid. I don't know what kind of political position Charlamagne would run for other than corrupt politician. You know what I'm saying? And I had two other articles, but I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll hit these other two articles tomorrow. Or actually, we'll hit all those articles tomorrow. And we will finish the Aiden Ross stream tomorrow. Okay? What that sound like? If that sound good, give me a thumbs up. If it don't sound good, then give me a thumbs down. Now what we about to do is we about to take a look at Charlamagne and his explanation of why people should vote for Kamala Harris. And we're going to see if you guys agree or if you disagree. I got to agree with Manosphere Hall of Fame. Charlamagne is the type that would sell blacks out for joy if he was in office. Absolutely, because he's doing it right now, and he's not in office. I don't even know if he has an office. You know what I'm saying? And shout out to Shaka. Shaka says, Charlamagne, a matriarchal Democratic minion. Facts. A Omega-level simp enforcer. An Omega-level simp enforcer. You know what I'm saying? You know how they said that Professor X is an Omega-level unit? Yeah, that's Charlamagne with the Omega-level mutant. That's Charlamagne with the simping. You know what I'm saying? That is definitely Charlamagne with the simping. So we got this together. All right, cool. Let's see what he's talking about. Let's see what he's talking about.
Don't debate Donald Trump. Donald Trump is going to run circles around him and make him look insane to all of America. Donald Trump is going to make him look old and frail. You know why? Because Donald Trump is an entertainer. Now,
you see the date on here, February 18th? This is what I'm talking about. I got evidence to believe that this whole thing was kind of planned out. And And I believe that Charlamagne was a vehicle to try to smooth over the transition of getting people warmed up to the idea that you need to maintain your vote as a equal 1-for-1 ratio, Biden and Harris, because at some point those tickets may change. This is one of the reasons why, if you ask me, I kept saying Charlamagne is running the skeptic grift. He's acting fake suspicious of the Democrats because he knows of some type of pivot or narrative change that is almost guaranteed to come. And look where we are today. Look where we are today. The unit showed up. Shout out to the unit. Make sure y'all show the unit some love. Hit the button. Hit the button.
Don't debate Donald Trump. Donald Trump is going to run circles around him and make him look insane to all of America. Donald Trump is going to make him look old and frail. You know why? Because Donald Trump is an entertainer. Joe Biden he's really about business. He's a politician. He's actually in there doing the work.
That was the Breakfast Club co-host Charlamagne da God. When we spoke with him back in February, he was certainly right about what would happen if Biden debated Donald Trump. 6 months later, we talked to him about the state of the race now, how Kamala Harris can win and how she could lose. I think it was exactly 6 months ago we sat down, or just about 6 months ago, and you said that there was no main character energy with Biden. Nobody was inspired by the Democratic ticket. But what about now?
Oh, there's definitely a lot of main character energy on the Democratic ticket. I mean, that's...
Okay, so now Charlamagne is saying that there was no main character energy, right? No main character energy for Biden. Okay, sure, whatever that means, right? Now he's saying that there's a lot of main character energy on the Democratic ticket. Where is the main character energy on the Democratic ticket coming from? Because how do you get main character energy when the main character is not even doing any interviews? The main character is not doing any interviews. Would you guys agree? If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down. The main character is not doing interviews. There hasn't been any debates. A lot of people are complaining that she's not visible enough, saying that she's being hidden. How is the main character going to be a main character and they're not really in the limelight all like that, and they're the person that the campaign is all about? Shout out to Michael R. What's good with it, bro? Somebody make it make sense.
Always been my frustration, from the beginning, right? Because we know who the vice president is. We know who Kamala Harris is. Like, she has super main character energies.
And I think you said the race was...
Literally the exact right. Shout out to Hurricane IQ. Hurricane IQ said, wait, they're in the same studio from 6 months ago. Something tells me this discussion happened before the transit. Right. What do y'all, let me ask y'all this. How many of y'all think that Hurricane might be onto something? Is Hurricane onto something? Shout out to Carlton. Carlton said the main character being cloned or something. Yeah, they got that Men in Black stuff going on. They definitely got that Men in Black stuff going on. They put that red thing in front of everybody's face, and all of a sudden, all those non-approval ratings and all that for Biden, all of those just poof, just disappeared. And now everybody all in for Harris, all in for Cam. You know what I'm saying?
Between the crooks, the cowards, and the couch.
Yeah.
And the couch, meaning apathy, was gonna had the lead. What about now?
I think there's less apathy, but if I'm the Democrats, I'm not spiking the football yet. The job is not done. You still have to bring this thing home in November. I think that there's a lot of energy. People keep calling this the honeymoon phase. I don't think it's a honeymoon phase. I just think people haven't been energized in the Democratic Party in a long time. I think a lot of voters, even if you're not a Democrat, if you're an independent, or undecided person, you haven't been energized for something in a long time.
How could now, again, this is an intellectually dishonest statement if you ask me. How can you sit there and say that they haven't been energized when allegedly they won the election last time? What was that? What would you call that? I mean, seriously, don't the Democrats don't they have control over the House too? So what is there to not be energized about? He's making this statement saying, well, they haven't had nothing to be energized about. They ain't really had nothing to celebrate. Are you serious? The Democrats had the president for the last 4 years. What are they talking about? If that makes sense, give me a thumbs up. If it don't make sense, give me a thumbs down.
The last time we felt energy in the campaign was 2008 when President Barack Obama first ran. This feels like...
But that's not true. In 2008, Barack Obama ran and won, right? And then after Barack Obama's 8 years, Trump ran and won. And then and after Trump, there was Biden. Didn't Van Jones have so much energy that it pushed tears out of his eyes on national television when Joe Biden won? Isn't that a thing? Like, didn't that happen? Am I mistaking that, or am I getting my events mixed up, or what?
Like, whoa, there's like real energy. You want to be
that
involved
crowd
in
we
some
saw, that crowd we saw in Michigan.
Absolutely.
Was something else.
And look at all the new registered voters.
Yeah.
Like when people are energized enough to say, hey, I want to go out and register to vote and be a part of this process, that's when you know you got real energy.
She had protest.
Hey, Charlamagne looked like he sneaking out of the dumpster with an old half-eaten hamburger hanging out of his mouth, don't he? Sneaking out of the dumpster, and you flash the flashlight at him and his eyes glow.
Protesters out in Michigan.
You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
What did you?
So again, I want you guys to pay very close attention to the shaming, to the same policy tactics. If somebody has an issue with something that you might have said, you need to be quiet. And if you don't be quiet, if you don't let me just talk, then you must want Donald Trump to win. Otherwise, I'm speaking. Like, man, no, nobody's going to respond to that. Let me tell you something. Talking to voters like that, that's a turnoff, man. Nobody about to sit up there and put up with that nonsense. Let me shut up, man. Most people ain't going to put up with that nonsense. I'm going to just put it like that. How many people in the comment section going to put up with that nonsense? Somebody start talking to you like that, you're going to do exactly what they tell you to do.
That's when you know you got real energy.
She had protesters out in Michigan.
You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
What did you make of the way she shut them down?
I've seen that before. She shut me down like that. Yeah. We've seen it on TV when I had my talk show on Comedy Central. She shut me down like that. So who's the real president of this country? Is it Joe Manchin or Joe Biden, Madam Vice President?
Come on, Charlamagne.
It's
Joe Biden.
I can't tell.
No. It's Joe Biden. And don't start talking like a Republican.
So she started doing they're not gonna do anything for black people bounce. She started doing the they not doing anything for black people bounce. That could be a dance. You know what I'm saying? It could be some type of dance that Kamala Harris does, some type of ritual that she does at her ancestral temple. You know what I'm saying? When they go over there. But I want you guys to pay very close attention. She's doing the same thing. She's doing the same thing. In the clip where she was in Michigan, she tries to shame them with, if you criticize me, you must be supporting Trump. She did the same thing to Charlamagne. If you criticize me, you must be supporting Trump. Neither Charlamagne or the news anchor called that out as a serious strategy flaw. Shout out to DBB for being a like enforcer. Make sure y'all show DBB some love. Throw some like enforcers in the chat. Appreciate you, DBB. And then he said, well, yeah, she got me together. Actually, she didn't, because she didn't answer your question. She didn't give any evidence to show how Joe Biden is actually running things. And now what's actually interesting, right, is that it's actually arguable, well, if he's not capable of running for president, who is running things? Shout out to Antithesis, right? You ain't talking at me and you're not talking at me and expecting anything other than resistance and a hard time. Man, don't try it. Try something else. Try something else. You know what I'm saying?
About asking whether or not he's president.
That's how she shuts you down behind the scenes as well. If you're having a conversation, and it's not a shutdown.
Shout out to Sybil. What's good with it, Sybil?
Respect me. I'm the most powerful woman in the world. I want you to listen to me.
So you said something when we spoke 6 months ago. You said Biden should don't debate. Whatever you do not debate Donald Trump.
Was that right?
Did he? What you said? You said that Trump would make him look old and frail.
I don't know why people didn't see this coming. That was the other.
Trump didn't make Biden look old and frail. I disagree with that statement again. I've said this before. Nobody made Biden look old and frail except for Biden, and that's because he's actually old and frail. Everybody was like, oh, what a shocking, horrible performance. It's not a shocking, horrible performance. I've literally been saying Biden is a nursing home escapee. Have you ever seen a nursing home, somebody that's on a dementia unit try to have a deep conversation? It literally looked exactly like that debate. And people will literally be looking at that person all confused like how Trump was looking at him. No one made Biden look old and feeble except Biden. What about when Biden fell up the stairs? What about when he fell off a parked bike? All of those times was Biden making Biden look feeble. If you guys agree, give me a thumbs up. If y'all disagree, give me a thumbs down.
Frustrating thing. I'm glad that, they have a lot of energy in the party now, but they could have done this a year ago. And they could have avoided all of the backlash they're receiving now, where people are saying, "Oh, there was no primary. The people didn't decide this. This was a coup that the party did." It's like, yo, you could have avoided this a year ago because we all saw this.
Now here's my thing. Why didn't he address that? Well, is this a coup that the party threw? I mean, what is this? Notice how he just kind of said that. He kind of just threw that out there, and then he never really went back and said anything. Why not? What do you guys think? Why not?
You do not debate Donald Trump.
Was that right?
What you said? You said that Trump would make him look old and frail.
I don't know why the people didn't see this coming. That was the other frustrating thing. I'm glad that, they have a lot of energy in the party now, but they could have done this a year ago. And they could have avoided all of the backlash they're receiving now, where people are saying, "Oh, there was no primary. The people didn't decide this. This was a..."
Right, exactly. Shout out to DeAndre. Great point, bro. DeAndre says, "Don't let that go by, Rob. He said she'd do that behind the scenes too. That's why nobody wanted to work with her. She probably belittles her subordinates." Now, let's actually go into that. Let's actually talk about her subordinates. Let me ask you guys this question. What was the history with Kamala Harris and her subordinates? Does her staffing have a lot of retention and longevity? Or is her staffing hemorrhaging employees? Which one?
A coup that the party did. It's like, yo, you could have avoided this a year ago because we all saw this way back when.
Nobody stood up to run against him. I mean, Dean Phillips, but no major national figure on the Democratic side even hinted about challenging him.
Well, they should have been having those backroom conversations with him a year ago.
Yeah.
Actually, they should have been having them 4 years ago. They should have been like, "Hey, you're a transitional president. You're here for, a good time."
Now, here's the thing, right? What about people who were having those conversations? Because we certainly were. And what did they do with channels like mine? Russian bots. Misinformation, disinformation. Okay, well, here's my question. When we see Joe Biden failing on a debate stage, is it mis or disinformation then? What do you call it then? And real quick, shout out to everybody. I appreciate you guys. We got 53 people watching and 66 likes. I know we can get to that 100. If you haven't smashed the like button yet, take a moment, smash that like button. Also, if you guys haven't hit the bell or subscribed to the channel, hit the bell, subscribe to the channel. If you're not subscribed on Rumble or if you're not subscribed on Twitch, also take a moment and make sure that you are subscribed over there too, just in case unforeseen inconveniences occur here on YouTube.
Not a long time, and we are going to set up the future of the Democratic Party. They got a fantastic bitch, whether it's the vice president, who's currently running, whether it's Governor Josh Shapiro, whether it's Gretchen Whitmer, whether it's Wes Moore, whether it's Secretary Buttigieg. They got a great bench.
What do you think of the Tim Walz pick? You didn't mention his name.
Man,
I didn't know him.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I agree 110%. Shout out to Hurricane IQ. Hurricane IQ says, speaking of which, we should prepare our $1 trillion lawsuit for defamation. I agree 110%. Yeah, facts. If you guys agree with Hurricane, give me a thumbs up. If you guys disagree, give me a thumbs down. Absolutely.
Most of America didn't know.
I just found out about him over the last couple of weeks. At first, I was a little bit disappointed. Like, I knew we knew she needed a DEI. Right? We know she did.
Hey, shout out to DC Precise. DC Precise said every time you pause it, he's looking like he's ready for something to drop on his forehead. Maybe they got some seagulls flying around in there. Seagulls that drop on your forehead from like 500 feet in the air and hit you like a bullseye target. Maybe they got some seagulls flying around in there. Man, I remember at Lake Erie, man, one time, my cousin, man, my favorite cousin, man, a seagull got her. It got her. Looked like somebody, like a scrambled egg just busted on top of her head, man. It was terrible. She was at the water fountain. We was at Lake Erie at Edgewater Park. She looked up, and that seagull was like, flat. She was like, it's in my eyes and it's burning. I was like, oh no, you know what I'm saying? Like, we had to put her head under the water fountain. Like, it's terrible, man. Terrible. Seagulls is ruthless. You know what I'm saying? When they come up with some new military weapons with them drones, they need to call them drones the Seagulls, the Seagull 5000.
So Tim Walz is the DEI hire on this ticket. Diversity, equity, inclusion.
She needed a white male to make America comfortable. It is what it is. No need for us to, act crazy about it. We know what it is.
You've known Kamala Harris for a while. You know her pretty well. What are her politics? Because they're trying to portray her as a far left, the squad, all that.
She's very moderate. The thing that I like about her, and her messaging is very clear, even though she doesn't have it.
Okay, so now Charlamagne said that she's moderate. What's that mean? Now she's moderate, right? And they're saying that Tim Walz is more moderate than her. So now if she's moderate and Tim Walz is more moderate than her, my question is, when it comes to us coming to her with our list of demands that she's going to be compliant with, or else she's going to get reparations or couch written on the ballots, my question is, how likely is she to be compliant with a majority of the things that we ask for if she's moderate and her VP is more moderate than her? Let me know what you guys think. And shout out to Deneen. Good to see you, Deneen. Deneen says he is always bucking his eyes. Facts. One of these days, one of them going to pop right out of his head and roll up under the chair somewhere.
Up on her website yet, but the messaging is very clear. She wants to rebuild the middle class. She wants to give everybody an opportunity to start a business. She wants to give everybody an opportunity to be a homeowner. She's a leader on mental health, right? Like when she launched her first mental health.
She's a leader on mental health. So now one thing that she'll do to get black people to shut up is create some mental health programs and call it reparations. I don't think that somebody that laughs like they're manic anytime a question is asked, I don't really think that they should be leading the mental health charge. I don't think that they should be leading the mental health charge. Laughing for no reason has literally never been a sign, symptom, or indicator of stable mental health. It just never has been. It hasn't been. This is gaslighting if we act like it is. You know what I'm saying?
Plan when she ran for president, I was with her, in South Carolina. And those are the things that American people care about.
Does she need to show some distance between herself and Biden, or some differentiation? So how does she do that?
By talking about.
Shout out to Deneen, right? I wouldn't disagree with you, right? I wouldn't disagree with that. Deneen says Tim is further left, in my opinion. I think that that's a valid opinion. I don't think that there's anything wrong with that opinion. The reason why I say that he is more than likely more moderate than Kamala is because he's advertised as the liberal Democrat that makes the most inroads with Republicans. They branded him as that. Now, we saw all of his migrant policies and immigration policies. Absolutely, I would say it's crazy far left to just be giving anybody a driver's license. Crazy far left to be giving anybody health insurance, especially people that are undocumented, right? But remember, if you look at all of the quote-unquote reasons why they claim that Kamala Harris picked him up, what they're saying is that it's been said that based on Kamala Harris's voting pattern, based on the data from her voting pattern, she's the most moderate senator, most moderate person in the government. Or most left-leaning, most left-leaning, right? So that would kind of make me say, well, if this guy is more likely to be on par with some conservatives, at some point he's got to be a little bit more right-leaning than Kamala Harris. That's where I get my idea from. You know what I'm saying?
About what she's going to do for the next 4 years. Like, I know that, they want to keep her paired to, the successes that they had while she was vice president. And that's cool, the harp on a couple of those, because a lot of those things, were her idea, like, the cap on, the $35 cap on the insulin, things like that. So that's good to say, hey, I was the person behind that, but you still got to tell America what you're going to do for the next 4 years. Because like I said, the job's not.
Now, how many people, shout out to TD, because TD did a video about this. I don't know if y'all seen it. Y'all should he did a live stream about it, actually. I don't know if y'all seen the live stream that he did, but make sure if y'all didn't get a chance to go check it out, that y'all go check it out. TD did a live stream where he showed that Kamala Harris basically kind of stole one of Trump's talking points, where they were talking about tips to hospitality workers or something like that. I don't know what that was about. What was that about? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what's going on with that? That's kind of weird.
Finish. Like, this isn't no slam dunk victory. Like, there's still people who have to be, incentivized to get up off the couch. Like, votes are earned. not given.
You wrote about her in your book.
No, I think that's interesting. Votes are earned, not given. Duh, not like I didn't have a title of a video called that or anything, clown.
You said, when I endorsed her in 2020, it was because of my private conversations with her, not because of the persona she presents to the public. The vice president needs to talk to the world the way she talks to me.
That's right.
So what is that like? What's different?
I mean, I think we've seen it the last couple of weeks. You just brought up, you know, what she said to the protesters. That's the real her. And I think a lot of times, you know, in politics, man, especially when you a woman of color, they don't want to be perceived as the angry black woman.
Let me ask you this. When has Nikki Haley or Tulsi Gabbard been perceived as an angry black woman? When has Nikki Haley or Tulsi Gabbard been perceived as an angry black woman? And here goes my thing. Who cares what these people perceive you as? I don't care what you want to perceive me as a thug. I'll show you a thug. You want to perceive me as a devil? I'll show you hell. You know what I'm saying? So who cares what these people perceive you as? If you don't want me to play into your perception as a weakness, you don't want me to play into your fear like Scarecrow from DC Comics, then you better try to be as accurate with reality as you can, or else I'm going to weaponize your own brain against you. You know what I'm saying? And I don't care how scared people are. The whole world operates based on fear. So if I can get some fear off of you, then it is what it is. I just get what I get. But my question is, how do Tulsi Gabbard and Nikki Haley, how do they get perceived as an angry black woman? Somebody help me out. I'll be that. DZ precise facts.
World the way she talks to me.
That's right.
So what is that like? What's different?
I mean, I think we've seen it the last couple of weeks. You just brought up, you know, what she said to the protesters. That's the real her. And I think a lot of times, you know, in politics, man, especially when you a woman of color, they don't want to be perceived as the angry black woman. But I mean, look, we got a lot to be angry about right now. Like, we really do. And I think that people see that and they see passion, because that's what it is. So I don't, how do you see somebody as an angry any kind of woman when all they do is smile the entire time? When all they do is laugh. Even when like Kamala Harris is so kind of like, she got like that kind of like laid back, like she too laid back persona. She got that persona that's like so laid back. It's almost comical when she tried like that, where she tried to get mean and get those protesters together. It's not, you can't even take it serious. It's like, oh, look at her trying to get serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not taking that serious. It's like, man, shut up. You know what I'm saying? What? That's that kind of stuff when somebody, like when it's somebody that is angry at you and you know them and you kind of know what they about and they try to like buck up on you and you just laugh and walk away because you know ain't nothing about to happen anyway. It's that kind of thing. Like, I'm sitting there looking at her like, that's hilarious. You know what I'm saying? I mean, ain't nobody taking that serious. So I don't see, we all know how we feel about Kamala Harris as far as the ethnicity and all that. That doesn't need to be discussed, right? So even people that say, okay, sure, we're going to say that she's, you know, XYZ woman, right? I don't see her as that. There's other people that I actually see that kind of embrace that kind of persona. Kamala Harris don't even embrace the angry black woman persona. She don't embrace that. No one would see her as that, I don't think. Maybe some frail, weird, you know what I'm saying, white person that's never been around black people, but I don't think she don't fit that. Like, that's not her. I don't see that even. It don't even make sense. She don't, for one, she don't seem like an angry woman. And for two, for multiple reasons, she definitely don't seem like an angry black woman. Like, you don't get that vibe. She just kind of seemed like ditzy. You know what I'm saying? And she might have her little moments where she irritable, but like that, I don't see that. So if she is not comfortable enough with her own personality to be like, I don't even give off that type of energy, that's on her. Stop trying to code switch. Shout out to Deneen. Deneen said it's giving angry Asian woman. She don't even strike me as a hurry up and buy kind. She don't even strike me as that. She strike me as the type of person that
is just go along with the flow. I'm not going to say too much. I'm not going to make any waves. But then when I get too tired of just being a doormat, then I'm going to say something, but ain't nobody going to take me serious. And then I'm going to go back to being a doormat. That's the type of person she strike me as. She strike me as a flake. That's old school language. You know what I'm saying? Old people call people flakes. She strike me as a flake. You know what I'm saying?
I think over the last few weeks in the press, we've actually seen the real her, and she does need to do more interviews. I'm not.
Yeah, how about she hasn't done an interview yet, and she hasn't done a press conference yet.
Yeah.
So I mean, why is that? I mean, she's new to the job, but it's striking that we really haven't seen her answer questions yet.
I really don't know. I mean, it's the bottom of the ninth inning, right? Like I feel like she should be any and everywhere, having these conversations. I truly don't know why she hasn't, done any interviews yet, because that's the only reason.
Because what is she going to do an interview on? She don't have any policies. You know what I'm saying? If she does an interview, she can't even reference anybody back to her policy page, her policy brochure, because there is none. Her policy looks like a sheet of paper out of a fresh batch of 500 sheets of copy paper for a printer. Like somebody could literally hand a box of wrapped printer paper down and be like, here go Kamala Harris's policy positions right here. Just a blank printer paper. Shout out to Hurricane. Hurricane, your parents be calling people flakes. That's hilarious. She a flake, man. She like the textbook definition of a flake. You know what I'm saying? She is a flake. So look at this old flaky woman. You know what I'm saying? See one person one day, the next person another day. This old flake. You know what I'm saying?
Donald Trump is still, sucking the air out of the headlines because he keeps headlines going. Like he's everywhere. You saw him at the National Association for Black Journalists Convention. You saw him on with Aiden Ross. He's going to be on with Elon Musk. He's always calling into conservative talk radio, which is one of my biggest issues with the Democratic Party. They don't use, they don't use the media that supports them the way that the right uses the media that supports.
Which is ridiculous because the entire media apparatus supports the left. The entire media apparatus. It's the only establishment media apparatus that supports the right is Fox. Literally everyone else supports the Democrats. The right is, for the most part, made up of social media content creators, YouTubers, and like grassroots, little white grassroots news like Blaze and Newsmax. That's it. The Democrats got the entire Hollywood. They could put subliminal messages in the movies. They got sports. They could put the messages out there with sports. They got music. They could put the messages out there with Hollywood. They got everything. Social media. You know what I'm saying? Facebook. Mark Zuckerberg. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know what? The right got Twitter. I forgot. The right got Twitter because Elon Musk want to get back on his apartheid ancestry. So the right got Twitter. I forgot about that. They got X. I should call it X. Call it by his name, right?
Supports them. Like, for the last 4 years, she's had plenty of platforms that she can be going on, from radio to podcast, right? That actually support her and, support Democrats. But they haven't been doing that.
What did you make of the way she responded to his comments about her just turning black?
I don't even think that she should have responded. I don't think she should have dignified that with a response.
I think that if somebody's going to say something like that about you, I think you should respond to it. I would have said, well, I feel comfortable talking about my family because I don't have anything to hide. Here's information about my family. You know what I'm saying? Now let's talk about your family. You know what I'm saying? But she hasn't addressed any of those questions about her family, which is interesting. Shout out to Deneen. Deneen says, I need him to stop talking. Like now. You know what I'm saying? Do you feel like this?
So dumb. You are really dumb. For real. Oh, you are so dumb. You are really dumb. For real.
Oh man, Anton Dotson said, you are really dumb. For real.
Idiots! I'm surrounded by incompetent idiots!
on my team.
Man, what happened with Ramjet and Megatron in that picture, man? Megatron down on the ground, Ramjet standing there looking stupid. What happened?
But she didn't directly respond. She just basically said a version of "there he goes again."
And that's true. Yeah, there he goes being racist again. Like this, we've seen this, play from Donald Trump before. We saw it with the birtherism with President Obama. Like this is the card that he plays. And I mean, at this point, it's like, yo, we don't know that trick already. Yeah. Like, why is the media being distracted by the things that he's saying? We need to stop making those things headlines and make both these candidates, the vice president and Donald Trump, focus on the issues, because people are out here hurting, man.
So bottom line, how does Harris win this election and how does she lose it?
How does Harris win this election? She wins this election by constantly going out there and talking about the issues. Don't get distracted by all of the racist insults that are going to come your way, the sexist insults that are going to come your way. You got to go out there and really engage people. You have to go out there and, really shake hands and kiss babies. You have to go places that people normally don't go. There's new voters turning 18 every day. So you have to find a way to go out there and engage them. So I think she...
New voters is turning 18 every day, but age ain't nothing but a number. Right, Charlamagne?
Should use a lot of new media. Yes, she should sit with people like you, John, of course. Yeah. I do think she should go to Fox News, but she should be going on these podcasts and she should be talking to these TikTokers who are already supporting her, right? Like she should be doing things like that. Engage this new audience, because right now you got all of this energy. She's never been this viral. She's never been all over social media in a good way.
Why is that? Like that, I mean, that's seriously something that should be looked at and considered. Like that's not a flex to sit there and say like she ain't never been this popular. She's been around for a while, so like where have the failures been that she hasn't been this damn popular? You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Mr. King. What's good with it, bro? You know what I mean? Like, what's really good? What's really going on? Shout out to y'all. I appreciate you guys. We got 58 people watching, and we got 73 likes. That means that we only need 27 more to get to that 100. I know that you guys can do it. If you haven't smashed that like button, take a moment, smash that like button. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, take a moment, hit that bell. Also, please share the stream to your social media. And if you're not part of the Discord, hit that link that's pinned in the chat and join the Discord.
Like she is now. So now that you got those people's attention, go out there and talk to them and tell them what your future looks like. Because those kids are the future. That's how you win this election. And how does she lose? How does she lose it? She loses it because if all of Donald Trump's cronies around the country refuse to certify the results of the election, and she loses it if Donald Trump, challenges the results of the election in the Supreme Court, which is no longer a legitimate institution. They are completely corrupt. If he challenges it and it goes to the Supreme Court, and the Supreme Court overturns the results.
Hey, throw the collard greens in the chat, y'all. Throw some collard greens and like enforcers in the chat. You know what I'm saying? DeAndre for the like enforcement and Patrick for the collard greens. Throw them greens in the chat for Patrick. Patrick said, don't want to get Riles started, but those greens. Bro, the greens, man. Who is she cooking them for, bro?
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
This is the hardest record out.
Get the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
I'm rich, bitch.
Like, where the greens coming from, man? Where are they coming from?
The election.
And I would just say he tried everything, and he was president of the United States, so he had power to try everything, and he failed. And the Supreme Court told him, no way.
I just feel like they're more emboldened now. But what I would say is that a Democrat's only defense against voter suppression is they'll always have the largest voter turnout in history, right?
Oh, man, that's terrible. Greens and booty juice. Oh, man, what about greens and booty jig? Could you imagine if that was a presidential ticket? Greens and booty jig? Lord have mercy. What would that look like? What would the after party look like? That would be one of them Diddy parties. You know what I'm saying?
You think we'll see that, the largest voter turnout?
I don't think they had a chance in hell of getting that with President Biden. I think they have a great chance of getting that with Vice President Kamala Harris.
All right.
But she got to go out there and earn it.
All right, so there's that. All right, so, Charlamagne, to me, if you ask me, which nobody asked me, but I'm going to tell y'all anyway, you know what I'm saying? He got up there and he said a bunch of nothing. Literally, there was no difference in the first interview that he did at that exact same studio. Shout out to Hurricane. There was no difference between the first interview and this interview, which literally tells me that he was on the same time in the first interview. And if you ask me, I'm pretty sure that damn near validates the fact that, they said that the White House gives the White House gives Charlamagne correspondence to what's going on. And if you ask me, that interview corresponds to the fact that he was getting people ready for the idea that a vote for Harris is a vote for Biden, because we might need to shift our idea to voting for Harris, because for whatever reason, that Biden vote might not be existent anymore. And here we are, and no longer is the Biden vote existent. But it's okay, because if you were voting for Biden, that's a vote for Harris. You know what I'm saying? That's it. It's crazy, man. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to you guys, man. We actually finished this one in a decent amount of time. I got just enough time to actually get a head start on what I got to do. So shout out to y'all, man. I appreciate it. Shout out to her, or shout out to AB Promotions. Make sure you guys show AB Promotions some love. I definitely appreciate you, bro. Throw some flames, some radiation emoji, and some ducks in the chat from my man, AB Promotions.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Cash rules everything around me. Cream, get the money. Dollar bill, yo.
Definitely appreciate you, bro. AB says Kamala is equal to that Australian breakdancer. An embarrassment, bro. She moved like the Australian breakdancer with Homer Simpson as her partner. Literally, she got Homer Simpson as her partner, which is wild. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Hurricane IQ. Make sure y'all show Hurricane IQ some love. Throw some flames, some radiation emojis, some ducks in the chat for my man Hurricane IQ, funding the organization.
How do you think that we fund this organization, huh? We're not exactly the March of Dimes.
Get the money, y'all. There's poor people around.
I'm rich, biatch!
Silence. I ain't got no money, pop.
Shout out to Alonda. What's good with it, Alonda? All right, so make sure you guys stick around until after the music is done. It'll take you right into the next premiere window. Once you get in there, hit that bell icon twice, all right, on the premiere. Also, hit that thumbs up button, all right? Leave a comment. Before we go, though, I want to shout out to 12 stream sponsors, because y'all already know, without them, ain't none there. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Kurt. Shout out to Patrick. Shout out to DC Precise. Shout out to Kurt. Shout out to Kurt. Shout out to Kurt. Kurt out here killing it. Shout out to Kurt again. Shout out to John Guillory. Shout out to Brooklyn Queen. Shout out to Patrick. Shout out to AB Promotions. And shout out to Hurricane IQ. I cannot tell you all how much I appreciate it. And I hope that I am giving you all content that is consistent with the value that you all reinvest into the platform. I definitely appreciate it. And like I said, I'm going to do as much as I can to not only provide more and higher quality content, but also do as many upgrades as I can to give you the most professional and accurate experience that you can get. And as always, ladies and gentlemen,
walk up in the life. Yeah, I'm really talking my shit like I'm really him. Hold up, look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him. Don't believe me? Come and see me. Got 3 wishes from my genie. Now I'm on your local TV. Y'all on tour, got demons. Say she wanna come and see me when I'm in a local city. I'm like, pause though. Please step aside so they can see me. And I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him. I'm the realest from my city. That's on money, that's on Kiwi, that's on mamas. Niggas don't believe me, come and see me. I been dodging all that face. All these niggas working broke, but I been getting paid. All that know me from the street. Flexing for what feature, that's like every other week. Talk behind my back, I kick my feet up, have a seat. Cause at the end of the day, all these watching me as I walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him on God. Walk up in this light. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like I'm really him, hold up. Look, walking this bitch like, hey. Yeah, I'm really him. Talking my shit like, hey. I'm really him, hold up.